In the late 8th century, the Latin-based culture of scholarship, which had grown up in places like Lindisfarne and which had also been the cradle of Old English, faced extinction from across the sea. These ruins are of the medieval monastery that stood on the island of Lindisfarne. It was the Vikings who sacked and burnt the religious centre that stood here before. To these pagan pirates rampaging out of their longships in 793, this great centre of Christian piety and scholarship, a pivotal place in the survival of the Word and the Gospels, was no more than an undefended treasure house. The jewels that graced the books of the church became baubles around a Viking's neck. Today, the Vikings may seem romantic, reenacting their rituals a good day out. Over 12 centuries ago, their arrival was not so cheerful. To many, it seemed to signal the end for civilization. A year after razing Lindisfarne, the Vikings returned and sacked Jarrow, the abbey, where Bede had been the greatest scholar in one of the finest libraries in Christendom. This stronghold of the Latin word, where English was also being written down, uniquely among European dialects, was burned to the ground, its books with it. It was the start of 70 years of attack, during which the Vikings savaged this eastern half of the country. Few stories survive of exactly where and when they attacked, perhaps chillingly because few were left to tell the tale. At first, the raiders went home with their plunder. Then they decided to take the land itself. In 865, the Vikings landed a great army south of here in East Anglia. Within 5 years, the Viking invaders, who were now called Danes, controlled the north and east of the country. Of the old Anglo-Saxon kingdoms, only Wessex still held out. Old Norse, the language of the conquerors, was spreading throughout the land. Old English potentially faced the same fate as the Celtic language it had supplanted, virtual oblivion. English was in need of a champion, and it found one.